Hello Wargamers, it's me Callum from Tabletop Banter, and today I'm going to do a video that is another 1000 for 100 list. This is probably the best value 1000 for 100 list I've made so far. It is in fact for the Chaos Codex, Chaos Space Marines, to be more specific, because obviously there are Chaos Demons and now Demon Kin as well. I've been working very hard at creating a few more 1000 for 100 lists of the slightly more obscure armies. Sometimes I've produced a couple of more interesting ones which you'll see in the future too, and I found for the Harlequins it's actually impossible. If you want to do their mask detachment, it is, unless you go unbound, it's impossible, and even then it's difficult. So, but then they're new, so I expected them to be like that. This however is the Chaos Space Marine one. Obviously I think the oldest codex in production so far. Probably be updated at some point, I'm sure. The total cost comes in at £99.25, but the real cost won't be that much. I've just included the full purchasing cost because that's a slightly more fair way of doing it. So just to go over what you have to buy to create this list, you have to buy the Dark Vengeance box set, which is £52 on this website I use. And the big thing about this is you don't have to resell the Dark Angels stuff. This is if you kept the Dark Angels stuff as Dark Angels, so not even converting either. You just literally get 750 points of Dark Angels as well for free in this. So you could make a 1750 list if you converted them, the Dark Angels pretty much, into Chaos, if you fancied it. But I haven't included that because that's not the aim of this this list building exercise. It's to create some kind of WYSIWYG-ish list, not using Dark Angels to be Chaos. So on top of that, there's also a box of Chaos Bikers and 2 boxes of the Raptors or the Warp Talons. This particular army is pretty mobile. That's the one thing I do quite like about it. I have tried to make a fairly mobile list, good on objectives. I know that Chaos is probably the weakest codex. Well, not the weakest, but definitely one of the weakest. So I've tried to combat some of those issues that it faces quite a lot. I know it's not terribly weak, but it just needs an update, that's all. So let's start from the top in terms of an HQ choice. This is all combined arms. A Chaos Lord, he's worth 155 points. He has Melter Bombs, he has the Murder Sword, the Mark of Tzeentch, because I wanted to be able to reroll saving throws of 1. What else did I give him? I gave him Veterans of the Long War because, you do face Space Marines a bit. Especially now that they've had a nice update. So, looking over his stat line, it's Weapon Skill 6, Ballistic Skill 5, Strength and Toughness 4, 3 wounds, Initiative 5, which is a big one for me because that means you're striking before most things. And he obviously has the Mark of Tzeentch, so that doesn't... So that it's I5 naturally, it's not Mark of Slaanesh, for example. And he has the Murder Sword and Veterans of the Long War. The 3-up save is the only thing that deters me from this. He gets 3 attacks. He has Leadership 10, by the way, but the 3-up save is the one thing I don't like. I can't remember what the 2-up save thing was, but obviously on this list I've built it so that he has the 3-up save, which does obviously make him slightly cheaper. But you're hoping, well, you attach them to a unit and they'll probably all die. But that's fine. That's what they're there for. They're to take the strong character into close combat. So coming off of that, we go down to I gave him the Sigil of Corruption as well, 4-up invulnerable save. That's kind of a big deal compared to everything else. So yeah, for the elite choices, we have a 5-man unit, a Chosen, with many lightning claws. The Chosen Champion has a power maul because I know that the +1 strength can be quite handy. +2 strength can be quite handy. And also one of them has a power axe. I decided that this unit would be quite sort of run behind buildings. Don't have to worry about them until you get into close combat because that's what they're there for. They also have the Icon of Excess, and because they're taking the Mark of Slaanesh. And the Icon of Excess means they get initiative... Oh no, the Mark of Slaanesh means they get initiative 5. And they get Feel No Pain from the Icon of Excess. So you have a unit that's fairly difficult to get rid of. And they're also Veterans of the Long War, so Leadership of the Chosen Champion gets leadership 11, which is pretty crazy. And yeah, 3-up saves with the Feel No Pain, quite handy. Obviously, Lightning Claws are pretty good. I do like Lightning Claws. The Shred AP3 thing is pretty handy. Also in the Elite slot, we have the Hellbrute, which is obviously similar to the old Dreadnought. It obviously only has 2 attacks, but it's pretty much a Chaos Dreadnought that gets crazed. It comes in the box set. The model looks quite cool. So yeah, why wouldn't you have it? It's only 100 points as well for something that can be quite a pain. In terms of troop choices, 2 10-man units of cultists. Obviously not the strongest troop choice selections there, but one of them has the close combat loadout and one of them has the autogun loadout. Reason being, that's what came in the box. I wanted to keep it fairly what you see is what you get. So the with the close combat loadout, so the extra attacks, is the Flamer. And with the autogun upgrade, you get the Heavy Stubber. They're obviously just a 6+ save. You're expecting them to die pretty quickly. But they are there. They are there to be a distraction and to hold an objective. Next up we have Chaos Bikers. So, Nurgle Bikers in particular, because that's a giant pain. The reason being, toughness 6, quite tough then, and that is I can't remember how many power. Well, the Biker Champion has a Power Fist, and there is also a Plasma Gun in there. Actually, yeah, that's what it was, and that's obviously really useful because you're dealing out a lot of damage. Plus the twin-linked bolters on the bikes themselves, quite good too. So in that unit, you've got a fast objective grabbing unit who can dish out a lot of pain, especially with the Power Fist. That's quite handy as ever. And obviously it's a Biker Champion, so 2 attacks. 3 on the charge is kind of handy. So yeah, continuing with the fast attack. 5 Raptors. This was because I thought, again, I want a fast mobile unit that can capture objectives. I want this to be an objective-based list, essentially, because I know that Chaos aren't always the strongest. I know they're decent in close combat, where they can dish out a lot of wounds as well. Now, I gave these guys the Mark of Slaanesh again, because increase initiative, when you have, like this fast, high initiative group that needs to kill things in order to not be killed. Again, it can move like 12 inches, so it's quite handy. And now we're coming down to the last unit, I think. Yeah, a 5-man squad of Warp Talons. I love Warp Talons because you can give them the Mark of Slaanesh, makes them initiative 5, and they have AP3 Lightning Claws. And on the charge, they get 2 attacks each. That's quite a big deal. For me, that is a hard-hitting unit. It is 175 points. But it's going to do a lot of damage when it gets... I mean, I've watched a few battle reports with them in, and they just took out, like... You take out half a squad. If you think about it, you're hitting on whatever, and then all you have to do is wound. So, I mean, they have weapon skill 4, so they're probably going to hit on 4s and wound on... Is it 4? Yeah. And wound on 4s most of the time, I guess. But then they don't have a save. And that's the big thing. It's AP3 that can get through a lot of stuff. So, I thought that was quite a good way. Keep it mobile. Try and get some high AP in here. And yeah, I just thought it was a good idea to really stick with this method. Oh yeah, one thing I did forget to mention actually is the Mark of Tzeentch gives you a +1 invulnerable save. I've just looked at it over here now. So that does mean our Chaos Lord gets a 3+ invulnerable, which is quite handy, obviously. Quite a big deal with that. So I thought I would mention that at the end. So when I look at this list, I see a very objective-based list. I see a fun list, and I see a cheap list at the very least, because you can sell that Dark Angel side if you don't want it, and they probably go for £25 or so, I'd imagine. So you cut yourself down to a £75 list, or even better, you keep the Dark Angels and you set up a second army. I'll probably be doing a Dark Angels one as well, using the same box set, because you do get good things in that as well. and it'll be the same principle. You'll get half a Chaos army as well. So I really like the Dark Vengeance box set, as you probably all know by now. I'm aiming to buy one and paint them up as it should be, all correct colour schemes and everything, as almost like two 700 point studio armies, and I can then expand on that obviously, but I thought that would be kind of fun. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to comment, comment and subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the list. If you're a Chaos player, or if you're looking to get into Chaos, let me know how you'd change it, or if it's been helpful to you. And yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget, have fun.